Hey, since some people seemed interested in me doing sort of more videos in regards to software, that kinds of stuff, I'm going to make a quick one into Raspberry Pi now. So, what exactly is a Raspberry Pi? It's probably the best questions to start with. A Raspberry Pi is basically a little computer which is about the size of a debit or credit card. You can see at the moment it's got 4 USB. It's got two, the bluer ones which are faster than the grey ones which are a wee bit slower. It doesn't really make much difference personally if you want to use the blue or grey, it's whatever works for you. Then we have the standard internet cable here. We can also see the HD. You have two spaces for two monitors. If for some reason you want to use two monitors, for whatever reason, I've never felt a need, but if you have a need, for example, two different people watch, for example purposes, the show with a screen each, that could work for you, I suppose. I don't use it, but if you have a need, you can use that. You can also see the cable, black cable, that's a power cable. The power cable, I would strongly recommend you just buy the ones they recommend. Having that thing switch air is very useful, so I'd recommend it. The main thing you might find a wee bit annoying to start with is getting things into position. That's really it. You can do lots of things like customization, have your cases, that kind of stuff. You want to keep it clean. I know obviously it's a bit messy at the moment as I'm doing work in a house, but that's basically it. You can install things like a fan if you want to. You can install internet cables. You can install lots of different things. Your hard drive or your storage area, if you like, is just a simple SD card. Your SD card is basically what exactly makes it basically have the, if you like, the storage in it. That just shows you just here. You can, of course, depend how you want to do it. You can have a bigger one, a smaller one. It's however you want to do it. You can as well say, but I don't like the operating system. If that's the case, you can install other things such as Mint or other Linux operating systems. Raspberry itself is based on the Debian operating system. So if you used the Debian system before, it should make a lot of sense to you. You want to basically have, when possible, a wireless keyboard and a wireless mouse. That is something I would strongly recommend you do. I would also recommend, if possible, you get one USB which does both. This may seem a bit extreme to you, but when you start to do different things, you generally need all your USBs in some cases. So having a mouse and a keyboard which works together with one USB is the best way to do it. You can do lots of customization to it. For example, you can, if you don't feel comfortable, installing it yourself, you can pay people to do it for you. If that is a need for you, then go for it. Pay for someone to do the installing for you or putting the screws in. That is something which I found a wee bit frustrating when I first got one. The screws themselves are very, very small, so you will need a very clean area to do this if this is what you want to do in regards to your Raspberry Pi. So get a clean or tidy area to do it, then you should be fine. I've had so far, I'm on 3. One of the things you have to wear, which is very important with regard to Raspberry Pis, depending on which one you get, there'll be different sizes. So you might find, this thing only works with Raspberry Pi 2, Raspberry Pi 1, 3, 4, 5. I think we're in 5 at the moment. My most modern system, I believe, is Raspberry Pi 3. So I will be upgrading to a 4 or 5 quite soon. But just because something's a wee bit more modern, it doesn't mean you have to upgrade and say, oh, this is much better. It's like everything. Raspberry 2 and 1 can do different things. The only thing you have to watch in regards if you're going down the older route, you'll have to find older versions like Python, older versions of software to make it work. But excluding that, it can work fine. You can also find lots of customizations in regards to Raspberry Pi. For example purposes, you could, if you wanted to for some reason, you could make a Raspberry Pi style Game Boy Color, Game Gear, PlayStation style. You can do a lot of customization to it. So don't feel that, you've got to just rely on what you can make yourself. You can make a arcade system if you want to. There's lots of different things you can do in regards to a Raspberry Pi system. So that's something you might find kind of interesting in regards to working a system. There's lots of operations you can do to it, lots of cool things. And that's basically a quick introduction into the system as a whole.